Roger Kahn once said, "Horse racing is animated roulette because no horse is guaranteed to win or have a place in the history books." Many people don't know the different rankings of horses in history because there are so many, so how can there be a set ranking? Well, in an article written by Brandon Brugelaw, 10 Best Race Horses of All Time, a ranking that justifies itself can be found. In the sport of horse racing, to some, the top 3 race horses of all time are Secretariat, Man o' War, and Far Lap. First, considered to be the best race horse in history, Secretariat set records that horses today can never dream of touching. This information comes from an article written by Ron Flatter. Secretariat remains #1 name in horse racing today. This horse beat a 16-year-old record by almost 3 seconds. When Secretariat became the first horse to win the Triple Crown in 25 years, his 31 length gap between him and Sham is what catapulted him to the #1 spot in the history books. He had a time of 2 minutes and 24 seconds for 1.5 miles. Many people believe this record will never ever be touched. He only had a 16-month career, but in that 16 months, he started 21 races, won 16, finished in the money in all but his very first race. Some of this horse's incredible progeny went on to follow in his footsteps and make names of their own. He sired 1988 Preakness and Belmont winner Risen Star, and also the 1968 Horse of the Year Lady's Secret. This horse's progeny will never ever be able to touch that of his own records, but still hold true to their name. Second, considered as the second best racehorse in history, Man o' War was used as the measurement in which other horses were compared to back in his day. This information comes to us from an article written by Eliza R.L. McGraw named 6 Things You Might Not Have Known About Man o' War. One of the most remarkable things about this horse was that out of 22 races he started, Man o' War won 20 races, got second 1 time, and only ever had 1 true defeat. His 1 real defeat came from the name of a horse, Upset. This was at the Sanford Memorial Stakes on August 13th, 1919. Even this 1 defeat could not discredit him. He came back from starting at almost last out of the gate to lose the race by nearly half a neck. Even though he never ran in his home state of Kentucky, the people that lived there still held the horse in high regard. His trainer thought the distance of the Derby was too much for a horse at the beginning of the 3-year-old year. Nevertheless, the people of Kentucky wrote editorials about him in the paper about how they loved him with all their hearts. Lastly, seen as the 3rd best horse in racing history, Far Lap earns his spot on this list by winning 37 of 51 races he started back in the 30s. This information comes from an article called Far Lap Champion Racehorse. Coming from humble beginnings and often seen as the least likely to win, he was the people's champion with every race he won. He was the shortest price favorite in the 1930 Melbourne Cup race. This is what made him a household name and gave him the nickname the People's Champion. As the economy collapsed, Far Lap continued to win. So people put their hopes in the economy and the world in with Far Lap's winning races. Sadly, this amazing horse, just days after a miraculous victory, was killed in what was believed to be a mafia hit, and all that was left was his body for the people to mourn over. He suddenly became ill on the day of April 6th, 1932, and died. Some believed that it was of a natural cause from bad feed or poor handling, but his trainer Tommy Woodcock saw the fact that there was traces of arsenic in his system and thought it was an underhanded kill because he knew the ways that the underhanded part of the racing world worked. In conclusion, some of the best racehorses in history are Secretariat, Man o' War, and Far Lap. Although thoroughbred racing is a risky business, money-wise, it will be forever known as the sport of kings.